But we got a bunch of stuff that's come out. They released a lot of the footage that was kind of hidden. The chase scene, for one, the cop body cam when they first walk into the apartment and they find her, on the floor. What else? What else did they find? They released the audio, they released the text messages, and man, now that we see the screenshots of those text messages, there's a lot of shit blacked out. A lot of it blacked out. So not only is the context of the conversation missing, actual parts of the conversation are missing.
And they're literally like cherry picking from the conversation what's going on. And
yeah,
it's, I don't know. The closing arguments were powerful, strong. Talking about all these lies and that, Jabari, like, she's allowing a lot of this stuff to go on, and even though it's not what's going on. There's a lot. And I can't believe this went to trial. I can't believe this missed me. And if it went to trial, the fact that you didn't have two trials going simultaneously, like, because they both should have been in trial if you're gonna put one in trial, because there's a lot more evidence the other way. So I just don't understand that either. But I understand why, but I just don't agree with it. I understand why.
Yeah. So I believe I was listening to Kat. She's one of the newer faces on Chillmonger's channel, talking about a lot of this stuff, and I believe it was her. As she said something along the lines where the defense had asked before today or something like that, like, can you dismiss the case? And they're like, no.
The first time.
Or something like something. I could be wrong.
The first time they even came into the courtroom, the first thing the defense said was, "You should just dismiss this case."
I think that's what it was. I think yeah. I'm looking for some of this video, but a lot of the things aren't adding up. It's just it's a lot, man. It's a lot. So there's one of the videos here. When the cops first walk in. See if I can blow it up a little bit. So he grabs a blanket. That's Jonathan Majors in front. He grabs a blanket and kind of runs up the stairs to put it on her, because according to the 911 call, which was also released, she was naked from the bottom down. So she's quote unquote passed out on the floor in a closet without anything on her bottom half. Also a closet in the bathroom, which was like, what? So he kind of ran up there and put a blanket on her. So you see him grab the blanket, and then when it cuts over to her, you see her with the blanket kind of on her lower half of the body. So that's her passed out on the floor, supposedly. Because now it's a bigger issue, is like, was she really passed out? Because supposedly she was texting her buddy, of her friends that testified, I believe, already, or somebody. She was texting somebody, and then like a few minutes later, she's found passed out. So it was like, how can you text and then like literally a couple minutes later you're passed out? Yeah. Granted, she's probably super trashed by this point.
If you're drunk, that could happen.
Yeah. So, but we get a lot of the. I'm gonna go through it. So she's saying this. We talked to Jonathan Majors, who's this, like a talent agent or something like that. So like 10:45, Majors calls his agent and kind of freaks out. 11:07, Jabari texts her friend Holly. Then 11:12, Jonathan calls 911, right? And then 11:20 is when the police show up. So 11:07, she sends a text, and then was it 13 minutes later, the cops show up, and that's when she's like passed out. So
it's just so stupid. I agree. Like, I hate a lot of this stuff that's happening, and that it's become news, and people are it's ruining someone's career.
Yeah.
But it's only because he's famous that all this is happening.
Yeah. And then, of course, L, you come in right you come in right when we're talking about this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
sucks, but no, honestly, this is something I always try to frame it as say Ashley worked at a domestic violence place, and a lot of these laws are built to help support and protect parties that can't protect themselves, because there are people that out
Mhm.
there that are terrible people,
Mhm.
and you have to protect them. But the DA usually does his due diligence in figuring out what's happening before they charge anyone, and it's usually a lot into it. Even when you think you have all the evidence and you have everything right in front of their face, they still don't charge immediately. The fact that
They charge both,
or they
like
charge both and
Comic
just let
Boom said,
let
you
everyone
know.
else figure it out.
Yeah.
But the fact that they just did this, I don't like it. I honestly I hate it. I hate what's going on, and I hate that someone's career could be ended by something that might not have happened. I hate the fact that it's even in the public light. But
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
probably safer to put it in the public light, because if not, then you can do whatever you want, and you can railroad people, and you can come up with anything. So
Yeah.
Well, they are pretty much railroading him before anything was even proven. His agency had
yeah,
dropped him. All like the ads that he was in on TV were pulled. They're very will they won't they when it comes to his role as Kang. Before anything was even proven or set in stone. So I think that's one of the more irksome, if not the most irksome thing about this.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's an all around. I think unfortunate is putting it very lightly.
Yeah.
And yeah, before anything even really came to light, it was all kind of going by hearsay, which I think sucks. But
Yeah.
even if he is proven not guilty, I think the fallout from this, there's still going to be a lot of that for Majors. Unfortunately, who knows if he'll really be able to like kind of pick up the pieces from where his career was headed, because dude was about to skyrocket.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I know, but
Yeah.
I think what I keep on going with more. I don't like when people are taking advantage of situations. As I said, the laws are out there for a certain reason, because to protect the party that's really needs to be protected. You
Mhm.
know, and but it's always the people that are doing the most. That are trying to take advantage of that make it hard to continue to have these type of laws. And because it's not going to be equal. It's going to be whoever's the one that needs to be protected. That's who they're going to protect. That's how it's written up. Um,
Mm.
and then they try to sort through it later, but they protect one party, and they usually charge both, and you can both be arrested, and you can't leave the scene. You must be at the scene, because if you leave the scene, you just left the scene of a crime, then they'll arrest you. So like it was a no-win situation for him, and if nothing actually happened, then they shouldn't have pressed charges. They should have done the due diligence and shouldn't have gave to that point, because now if something really does happen with a star, and someone really does do these crazy things, are they going to look at it and with like a grain of salt, say, oh, did he really do it? Or are they going to really investigate it the way it needs to be investigated? Because there's times where people are horrible people and do things, and men put their hands on women and do crazy things. They do. It happens a lot, you know. But I, a case like this, I think, kind of just puts everything in the doubt. Now you have to prove it twice, you know, and
Mhm.
I just hate having these type of cases out there, and that this is getting as much publicity as possible as it is getting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is like, they're both kind of gross. Like the text messages weren't good on face value. They looked really bad. It's really like how they're gonna be, like for me, like the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing, was
Mhm.
they were both kind of like really bad for each other, and sometimes that's what happens. Maybe neither of them are actual toxic people, but together, oh man, that's when the shit hits the fan and they're both horrible people. I mean, I don't know, so that's kind of the thing. It's like, it's sometimes a toxic relationship just makes both people look toxic, and maybe they're not, but like Professor said, he hated that people took the text and ran with them, and yeah, you took texts out of context and highly redacted, so a lot of the conversations are
this whole conversation. They took parts of this conversation instead of the full thing. We never got the full information.
Yeah.
So
there's things that make Jonathan like the I'm a great man. Definitely, if that's what is said in an article, you read that, you're like, oh, he's a cocky son of a bitch. He's really, really bad. But then you play the whole thing and you're like, I get what he's going at, and I think he might have used like the incorrect words, but he was just like, he goes, I need to be great, not only for me, but for you, for he even said for the culture, like there was things he was like trying to push, like, you can't mess up. And I said, yeah, I feel this was mutually toxic situation. Kind of was. I mean, they both said they wanted to kill themselves at one point or another. So, that's definitely not good on either side. Yeah, I'm not a fan of tiny hats and coffee cups. Yeah. he's definitely he definitely got a certain look to himself. He goes, I love the Johnny and Amber Heard relationship things. Lover squibble. That's wow. What that was. Yeah, he shouldn't lose his career because he was in a toxic relationship. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's when it starts to becoming, a big thing. It's like, I'm sure there's levels of it, like if he did something really, really bad, like actually hurt her or, stuff like that. But, now you're like, at what level is it, and, it's just like a lot of the people are coming out and saying like, he chose though. Yeah. Is the one woman who chose to be with him.
Who he chose to be with her. So it's kind of like you have to know what you're asking, what you're getting into. But once again, once he got into the middle of that situation, he could not walk away. You can't say, oh, why didn't you just walk away? You can't. If you walk away, you're walking away from the scene of a crime. If someone ever does press charges, and you will be arrested immediately.
Yeah.
That is the law. That is what it says. That's how they do it every single time. So it's dangerous. And he didn't make that decision to be with her, and her with him. And when you know something's toxic, you should get out. But no one does the right thing all the time.
Yeah, that's why it's like after the first instance, you actively choose to be involved with that person. And it's not that easy, man. I like now, looking back at certain relationships I had, I was like, damn, you start seeing the red flags. I'm like, I should have broke up there. I should have broke up there. I should have broke up there. Like there was multiple times where I was like, or we should have stayed broken up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there's definitely like those things. Like I can't speak for everybody, but I'm sure a lot of people have stuff like that where I was like, and I was with this person for a while, and now looking back, I was like, fuck. Like the signs were there, but you don't notice them, so you always try to,
it's hard when you're inside the relationship, and from the outside you look it in, you can see it, but when you're inside, it's just not that simple. It's hard.
Yeah, it's very, very different. It's not that simple at all. Yeah, it's different, because then you're like I still love this person even though they're this and that, and
if you love this person, since you work through it, since you fight for a relationship, that if you say you love this person, you're supposed to do these things. Yeah, I've been in that there, definitely been there.
Yeah, because like I took how he told her like you need to be like who's the women he said. Corinna Scott King and Michelle Obama. Out of context, that sounds bad, but he was saying like you need to be a great like spouse, like these women were, and and then you hear, read the stories about Michelle Obama, like it wasn't all peaches and like, oh, he's the greatest man ever. Like they had fights, and she says,
yeah. What relationship is,
yeah. So it's like you don't need to be perfect, but you need to like not come home drunk every single day, and start bringing other drunk people to our house. Like I don't know if that's a lot to ask for. Yeah, Brandon, I see my broad for 4 years being abused. Yeah.
My dude said broad.
Old school. That dang.
I'm still waiting for you to use toots, Brandon.
Toots.
Where's that?
So real quick, this is the this is the chase scene, that we all kind of probably seen by now. So it seems like he just like pushes her off. So this is the part where she's like, he tossed me like a football. He was definitely aggressive. I can see that, but he didn't like shove her. And he was trying to like, you stay, I'm leaving. And she wasn't having that. Just left the door open. That poor cab driver. It's like, what the fuck? So it looked like he tried snatching the phone and then running, and then she's chasing him in heels and leather pants. He's got his short pants, and he's got his floods on. Floods and loafers. So this is the crazy where like bro, yeah. Danny Doeslaw, I believe, or Danny Atlaw. I'm sorry if I forgot her tag, but Danny said like people were starting to laugh in the court when this was.
Dude, he took off though, man. He took like he was kinging, like for real.
Yeah.
Like,
and she almost gets hit by a car. She doesn't even look, So, yeah. So
who's chasing someone 8 blocks?
and then here she starts to slow down. I was like, yeah, you ain't keeping up with Jonathan Majors, who at the time he's training and is in super good shape because he's filming Magazine Dreams during this time.
Yeah.
So he's literally, training to be a bodybuilder on screen, And this is kind of the part that we all kind of saw where she meets these random people and stuff like that. But, but she's still chasing. So, but it is kind of crazy, definitely kind of crazy. But I gotta say, I've seen stuff like this before, especially in the city. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Working or just walking downtown, you see arguments and people chasing each other. People, I saw a dude yelling at his girlfriend. He was on the floor and she was on the train platform, that's high, and just yelling, like, and it was like, oh, come back, and then the next like few minutes later, it's like, fuck you, bitch. It's like it was just all over the place. I mean, I forgot who I was with, one of my friends, and we're just sitting there watching. We're like, what the fuck is going on? So I've seen stuff like this before, like personally, which is crazy. Like you sit in Wrigleyville long enough, Brian, because I know you got the store there now. If you just sit there with a lawn chair, you'll see this maybe like once a month at least.
Oh yeah, yeah. Someone who frequents there on and off, yeah, you definitely see it.
Yeah. Get drunk, people start fighting. I saw you looking at her, or you were looking at him, like, and then start chasing each other and shit. But but Danny said, yeah, people were laughing at this. It was crazy. Which it is kind of funny, but it is kind of like messed up too. So what the fuck am I getting Steve Crowder fucking had?
Someone that you care about, you don't want this crazy stuff happening. You don't want it to be, everyone's public knowledge.
Yeah.
But I do agree with what Professor Film fan said. If he would have been chasing her, case would have been closed.
Oh, 100. Even that is like super scary. Imagine if a cop pulled up at any moment when he turned the corner and it's a black man running away from a white woman. That cop would have tackled him so fast. Like, what you steal? You took your purse? Like it would without even second thought. That cop would have tackled Jonathan Majors.
But if he was chasing her, he would have shot.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the laceration. So ER doctor did a expert testimony and kind of said like that doesn't seem like something that would happen from a hit. That's more of like a
not from a
pull or
punch
something.
or a
So
fall.
yeah. So so there's things. It's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of like crazy testimonies. So Jonathan Majors got scratched, and there's the blood on his pillow, blood on his chin, and scratch from on his wrist. But they said there's not enough evidence, merit to prosecute, for the DA to prosecute Jabari. So
none of the videotaping stuff.
yeah, So this dude, let me see if I find Danny. Is it Danny Duzlaw? I think. Yeah. So Danny is the one that's been in the court, with stuff like that. So she's been saying, the jurors, they want detailed judge explanation of each of the charge, a video interaction outside the car, so exhibit 5, and they want the 911 call. So they're in deliberation right now, and this is the stuff they requested. So she's been kind of talking about a bunch of stuff too, giving pretty good notes with it all. But yeah,
it's funny how
it's coming to the
all
end.
the spotlight came off of the police officers that got this thing, got the information from her, coerced her for a lot of this stuff. It's like, we're not going to focus on them.
Yeah. Even the I believe 3 of the cops took the stand, and a lot of them didn't help the case.
Yeah, well, this the one who decided to arrest Jonathan Majors. It was the one who was in charge. The other one was like, no, I just did what he was told me to do. Basically,
Yeah.
We didn't have any facts.
Yeah. Then there's the other one, Officer Mejia, I believe it was. He's the one that took Jonathan's thing to put the arrest out for Jabari, and supposedly I have to read in what happened with this one. I didn't read too much into it, but supposedly the DA said don't do that, and he did it anyway. So I don't know if that's true or not. I would have to read through her notes and see what was said. But that was one of the allegations between the cops and stuff like that. So they talked about domestic violence social worker. One of the guys that were there, police department people. I mean, one of the cops was like, "Oh yeah, he choked her and bashed her in the head," and then she denied that. Everyone denied it, but the cop still said like, "Oh yeah, no, that's what I wrote down. That's what happened."
That was the one who was the lead cop, and he was the one that said Jonathan Majors needs to get arrested.
Yeah.
Everyone else said no. I never heard her say that. She never admitted to that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So
it's tough, man. It's a terrible situation to be put in.
Yeah.
And the fact that
fun to unpack.
What about this? The fact that what if he gets somehow one of the lesser charges, and they said it's possible he could have done this. We have no facts, but it's possible this could have happened, and it was demeanor and it's like a fine or something like that. But he would have been found guilty in a court of law of something. His career could be over.
Yeah. Because I think if he's charged on all 4, he's facing up to a year in jail.
Up to a year, they said,
yeah. But like, imagine like those two that actually doing it. They said no. There's no way that that's that. And then the attempting of one, they say no. But then the attempting of the other, they say, well, maybe there's some evidence of this, and then they find him guilty, and it's a fine. It's not even any type of sentence. It's a fine, but his career could be over right then.
Yeah. I mean, you have a lot of I guess articles or journalists, I would say, that are just like flat out like cherry picking, like I think you said that, Brian, cherry picking and kind of picking and choosing, cherry picking, and writing articles and just are like, oh, he needs to be fired right away. I was like,
Hopefully,
it's
you're never in that situation, and no one treats you the way you're asking someone else to treat him. That's what I say.
Yeah, like I read those articles by two people. I don't want to put it out there on blast or whatever, but those two articles I read, they both read very, very similar, and both read like, you don't know, you never been through stuff like that. You never been like, like you could be arrested, if you call 911, like I know people that were like that, and they called 911 and they got arrested.
If you do not know, if you were called 911 and they come in and they see any type of thing and you walked away from the situation, they will not worry about who did what. They will not worry about the evidence. They will come arrest you first because you left the scene of the crime.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not even just that, I know somebody who called 911, was still in the house, locked themselves in the bathroom, and he was arrested.
Yeah, he's the guy.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he was the guy.
You get away. You get rid of the person who's the most they see is the one who could be the escalator.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah. I mean, with this is like, there's like the scene of the crime is kind of, it's really rough, with this one, because is it the streets or is it his house? Because supposedly, from what I understand, I could be wrong. Correct me if I am. He didn't go home that night. He went somewhere else because he didn't want to go home because he didn't want to be around her. So
I remember.
He went somewhere else, and then she wind up going out drinking, spending his money on getting drunk, and then ends up at their old house or at their house. Well, he's not there, so when he comes home, he sees her passed out. So,
but luckily he had that security guard with him. Like,
yeah. Let's see what you guys are saying. 1,000%. I'm not sure. He goes, the man went from Creed to Kang to Magazine Dreams. You're not catching that, man.
You're not catching him, man. No,
you're in heels too. I was like, there's no way. Yeah, she has gotten out her car and choked me on top of the. Oh, damn, dude! I don't even want to put that out there.
No. Run.
Yeah, that's rough, man. He would have been arrested, shot or killed if he was chasing her. Yeah, or cop would have pulled up. He was like running from her. Yep.
Yeah, no questions asked.
Yeah. If he found guilty or not guilty, do you think Marvel will keep him as Kang?
If he gets even guilty for even one count, they will not.
Yeah, he would have to be fully acquitted. And even then, it's kind of a thing.
Yeah, because with how wishy-washy and will they, won't they, they're being about it. Yeah, if it's even one charge, he'd have to be 100% acquitted and cleared of all charges, and then they'll be like, yeah, we'll move forward with him.
They'll say he was proven innocent in the court of law of his peers, and then they'll keep him. That's probably what's going to happen.
If anything, it seems like they're just looking for a reason. Based on the news stories that I'm reading, they're just looking for any reason to drop it. Unfortunately,
I don't know. I think that's what the articles are going to make you feel like that's what's going on. But Disney would have done it already.
Yeah, they would have done it, like right from the get-go. It was like, nope, we're done. So I think the problem is not Jonathan Majors. I think it's the actual character of this Kang. Like, they made Kang not good. So if they get rid of Kang, it's because Kang sucks. Like, they're making their big bad guy lose to everybody. So
he should have won. He should have been winning all from the get-go.
Yeah,
it's like, at least he won the one thing that matters. I called 911 and they didn't do shit. Yeah, that happens all the time.
It's the domestic dispute.
Yeah, just to finish up with this stuff, Danny, like I said, she's been doing pretty good. Said, Jonathan's agent, you have an expert witness, talking about her injuries. The police officer that, put the incident to arrest Jabari. Then this was a social worker, which that was probably not too much. A friend that was out on the streets, then all the police officers. They played the 911 calls. Chloe, who was also another random friend, I believe. Was she the random friend?
Yeah, just on the
yeah,
street.
she was on the street, right? Yeah. Um, little silly things, So it was this, the other Officer Swain, and then she did actual, Jabari was on stand for 2 days, I think, 3 days.
Yeah, she did one day and then they let her go away and then come back the next day.
Yeah. So they had a decent amount of people testifying for it, but from a lot of stuff I read, of actual, like, Danny does a good job with actual. Let me see if I can break up like a thing, because I know she like breaks it down pretty well in some of them. Like here, like she has like what was said and stuff like that, and kind of breaks it down. And a lot of other ones I've been reading too, that are actually in the courtroom, kind of same stuff that she says too. So yeah. So, but it looks good for him. Like I said, the most damning things are the text messages and the voicemail, or not the voicemail, the audio recording that she recorded without him knowing. That was in the same time frame. It was the same fight as the text messages. So that was all one event, was the text
Had
and the audio.
nothing to do with what's any of the charges are.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with that, which I don't think those are considered evidence either.
It's
I think they're just like
inadmissible.
I think they're background info or inadmissible or in whatever. But yeah, we'll find out tomorrow. I think they got their info and then they kind of adjourned for the day. I think that's the right word, right? And then we'll see. I think tomorrow morning it's gonna be interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, adjourn until tomorrow at 2:15 p.m. So that's 1:15 our time, Chicago local time. So that's 2:15 Eastern. So we'll see. 2:30. We might get an answer, or
no,
Eastern.
No, they're not coming back like that. I think it's going to be.
We might.
Yeah, we'll get. It's possible to get somewhere around 3:00, 3:30.
If it even, I mean, it could last days. I don't know. It depends on how long the jury.
But if it does go longer, the longer it goes, the worse off it is for him.
Probably, I agree. Yeah. If it's short, then it's probably good news, which I hope it is short. The stuff they ask for isn't out of anything crazy. They ask for detailed explanation of what each thing is, which I get. Like, I want to know what exactly I need to judge him on, which is understandable. And then they ask for a couple things of evidence, the chase, the foot chase, and the 911 call. Both of them kind of put Jonathan in good lights, I think. So, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, same. But especially the cab driver, the Uber driver.
I know.
Car driver.
Yeah. So, I know Chillmonger. Go check Chillmonger out if you're into a lot of this stuff. He's been doing dailies. The Dre Mac show, again, doing daily checkups on it all. Everything always, I believe.
Yep.
Or everything
always.
He's been doing some updates too, which is pretty cool. Having such a bigger YouTube channel, kind of talk about it as well. But yeah, definitely check out Chill. We'll hopefully join him this weekend, and then But unless you guys got anything else,
this craziness,
yeah.
I don't think it's a rap for him, King. I don't, because he's a villain. It's not like he's a superhero.
Yeah,
so I think that's the key thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, perception is reality. That's kind of thing. That's the social aspect of it all. People see that, they're like, "Oh, he got charged for that," but they don't see the details. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, they never even showed up. Jesus. Yeah, that happens too. I don't think the audio was bad, just bad examples. Yeah, But also she was recording without him knowing, which is already kind of like sussy for me. It's like,
Yeah.
why are you doing that?
I'm gonna set him up.
Almost. And it wasn't like he was like saying anything bad. He was just like, you need to do better because I need to be better and I need to be great, and I am great. I'm a great actor. It sounds kind of cocky for sure, but
You know what? I mean,
didn't think it's
anyone
bad.
who's good is arrogant.
Yeah,
Honest.
Yeah,
that's being a diva. Like
yeah, in some way,
ask any
shape, or
wide
form.
receiver. Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. So, but cool. Yeah. That's it for the Jonathan Major stuff. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think about it. Where do you stand on it? I think a lot of us in our community with Chillmonger and stuff, we're supporting Jonathan, and and one thing, like we're not saying every woman's a liar. Everyone who comes forward is a liar. We're saying like we're more like the truth needs to come out, and stuff like this, stuff like the Amber Heard stuff, I think really makes the movement weaker. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you know, kind of like taking, like Brian, you said, like taking advantage of a situation, and you're being a victim. Because usually most women are victims to domestic violence. Most women, but not all the time. But when you take advantage of that situation and that knowledge, then it kind of you're it's not good for anybody.
There's two statistics that always get me. The first one is when girls go to college, because I have a lot of young girls that go to college that work for me. I always say that 30% of women that go to college are in some type of situation where they could be raped. That's huge. Okay,
That's so big.
that's a huge thing. And the second thing is domestic violence. Most women will have some type of domestic violence situation in their life. Not necessarily with them, but between them or a friend or something like that. Those are huge things. What's up, SSJ? Oh man,
What's going on?
But yeah, so those are two huge things, especially with me. I have a lot of sisters, I have all girls. Those are things that are huge. But you also can't, because that's such a high number, you can't take advantage of situations when you're not doing right. When you didn't do the right thing, you're setting someone else up because you're ruining someone else's chance of being heard. Because there's a lot of women out there that won't say anything. They're afraid to come forward. It's because of people that are doing things like that.
Yeah. It's like you're taking advantage of somebody else's victimhood. You know what I mean? It's like, majority of women are victimized. So now you're taking advantage of that thing. And Brandon, you're totally right, man. Yeah, men are victims of domestic violence also, 100%. And that's what Jonathan Majors was trying to go after too. And then the DOE is like, nah, get out of here. Which is so bad. That's so bad on there.
I know definitely situations that definitely have had when men have been in that situation too. Yes. I told you, when you go to when she worked at 555 West Harrison, you see all sides of it. Yeah. You really do. And it sucks. And just hate that this is so out there in the open for everyone to see, being something that's a private matter that you want taken care of and take it seriously, being as public as it is, sucks.
Yeah.
It really does. Because it's someone's life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know we talked a little bit about it on Chill's stream the other day. I think there could be a good case for Jonathan to be like an advocate to like mental health and actual domestic violence. You know what I mean? So if he's smart, and I think he is a smart man, don't get me wrong. I think the recordings proved it to me. It's like he knows where he's at, and he knows the situation, and he knows he needs to have this very clean slate. You know what I mean? And the people around him need to have a clean slate because they also represent him. And that's what he was trying to say in the recording. It just out of context, it sounded way worse. Yeah. It's not how it came out exactly. So he knows, he understands. And I think he could turn this into a good publicity eventually. Something like Michael Vick. That's the first thing I thought of too. Michael Vick, big trouble for the dog fighting stuff, and now he's a big advocate for dogs and stuff. A lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of stuff he does for that movement. So
I just feel like he's not going to bring up the domestic violence anymore, but definitely the mental health.
Mental health,
would be huge for him.
Yeah, especially a black man in America where that's so stigmatized. He can definitely be a voice and a face for that, which would be good, So, but cool. Appreciate everyone coming in, hanging out with us, talking everything, talking about Jonathan Majors. Shout out to Chill for sending all his viewers over here, man. I don't think I ever talked to that many people at once on our own show, at least.
That was cool. It was very cool.
Yeah.
I saw it coming in. I was like, oh, I better say something.
Yeah. The one time I didn't have like the YouTube studio up.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it's at 50. Let's say something.
Yeah, I saw that number. I was like, oh shit. Cool. Appreciate everyone. Thank you guys. We are out for the night. We will see you on Monday talking about Wonka and a bunch of other stuff. And hopefully some good news about Jonathan Majors too.